Hello friends, so the first topic today we are going to discuss is about the schemes recently launched by Ministry of Law and Justice. So three new schemes were launched recently, and this was basically aimed at facilitating access to justice for the poor through use of technologies. So the first legal service which was launched was Pro Bono Legal Service. So it's a web-based platform through which interested lawyers can register themselves to volunteer services for litigants who are unable to afford it. तो यहाँ पे lawyers जो volunteer कर सकते हैं to help the poor. Then tele law service. It is aimed at facilitating the delivery of legal advice through an expert panel of lawyers stationed at State Legal Services Authority. तो जैसे नेशनल लेवल पे नालसा होती है वैसे स्टेट लेवल पे देयर इज अ स्टेट लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी एंड दिस टेली लॉ सर्विसेज विल like we can get an legal advice through an expert panel of lawyers. This project would connect the lawyers with the clients through video conferencing through facilities at CSCs. Now what are CSCs? CSCs are citizen service centers, कम्युनिटी सर्विस सेंटर्स. तो हर एक गांव में वगैरह एक कम्युनिटी सर्विस सेंटर होता है, तो वहाँ पे जाके इंटरनेट एक्सेस होता है और वहाँ से वो वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के थ्रू they can connect with these lawyers. So it's a tele law service. So the first was Pro Bono Legal Service, second is tele law service, then the third is Nyay Mitra. So it is aimed at reducing pendency of cases across selected districts with special focus on those pending for more than 10 years. तो 10 साल के ऊपर जो भी केसेस पेंडिंग है उनके लिए न्याय मित्र हेल्प करेंगे. तो ये न्याय मित्र एक रिटायर्ड जुडिशियल ऑफिसर होगा या फिर एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर होगा with a judicial experience, and it will be put in charge of assisting those suffering from these judicial delays. So this was about the first topic. Now the second topic is रेवा मेगा मल्टी पावर प्रोजेक्ट. तो ये प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो मध्य प्रदेश में स्थित है और it upon its completion it will be the world's largest single site solar power project. And recently a PPA, that is a power purchase agreement, was signed between Delhi Metro Railways Corporation and Madhya Pradesh. So that's the reason why it's in news, and so this is a unique thing that it is first power project to conduct interstate sale of solar power, and that too to Delhi Metro. So Rewa PPA has been accepted by the central government as a standard model for all other services, all other state governments to emulate other and achieve lowest electricity tariff rates to competitive bidding. तो ये एक मॉडल की तरह, स्टैंडर्ड मॉडल की तरह होगा और वो अदर स्टेट्स भी इसको इमुलेट कर सके, ऐसा ये एक एक्सेप्ट किया गया है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से. प्रोजेक्ट हैज़ बीन गेटिंग फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस फ्रॉम इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन, सो IFC, which is an arm of the World Bank, and it is been getting this support. and लगे हाथ हम लोग सोलार हॉटस्पॉट्स भी देख लेते हैं इंडिया में, कि जैसे राजस्थान जो है तो वहाँ पे बदलाव, जैसलमेर, जोधपुर, मध्य प्रदेश रेवा, नीमच, अगर, मंदसौर, शाजापुर, राजगढ़, छतरपुर, मोरेना, आंध्र प्रदेश अनंतपुरमु, कुर्नूल, कर्नाटक पावागढ़, then तेलंगाना गट्टू, and Himachal Pradesh Spiti Valley. So these are hotspots in India where we have lot of solar energy being generated. The third topic we are going to see today is about Super Earth. So what is this Super Earth? Super Earth is basically a recently discovered Earth-like planet, and it's orbiting around a red dwarf star which is known by the name LHS 1140, and it's about 40 light years away from the Earth. So the astronomers estimate that the age of this planet to be at least 5 billion years, and this red dwarf star is much smaller and cooler than our sun, and this super Earth is 10 times closer to its star than the Earth. So this is all factual data. Basic thing is super Earth, and it's an exoplanet, and it's probably made of rock with a dense iron core. and it can be habitable. So there is a speculation that it can be habitable zone. The fourth topic we are going to study today is Channakeshwa temple. So this is not like we are studying it at random. It had been in news that it had completed 900 years this year. So it had came in the Hindu, and so maybe it could be asked. And this temple is basically located in Bellur in Karnataka, and it's considered to be the first temple of Hoysala architecture style. So it was built between 1106 and 1117, and it was built by Vishnuvardhana, which was the king of the Hoysala dynasty. And this temple marks the victory of Gangaraja, a general in Vishnuvardhan's army, over invading Chola army in 1104. So this temple, along with the Halebid temple, is proposed as a UNESCO heritage site. So again it becomes important, and probability of it being asked also increases. The fifth topic today we are going to study is Safar. So what is Safar? So Safar is basically related to air quality and forecasting service, and it is an initiative by Ministry of Earth Science and Ministry of the full form is System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting Research. So it operates under the aegis of IITM, that's an autonomous body under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and it facilitates information on air quality, weather and radiation. So three important things you need to remember is air quality, weather and radiation. That's the ultraviolet index. So our air quality index जो है AQI, वो इसके अंडर काम करता है, and AQI is basically being calculated in 10 cities in our country. So it includes Delhi, Mumbai, kind of cities, and under AQI there are 8 pollutants which are being measured, like PM 2.5, PM 10, then SO2, NO2, and 8 pollutants. And other thing regarding Safar is that this ultraviolet index, it gives a rough measure of the amount of harmful ultraviolet radiation in the sunlight reaching the earth. And Safar has been operational in 3 cities, that is Pune, Mumbai and Delhi, and it is being proposed to be set up in Ahmedabad too. Okay, so air quality index right now 10 cities, and Safar is like 4th city is Ahmedabad. And the recent data of Safar shows that Delhi has faced a high risk of ultraviolet radiation, and Mumbai is at medium risk and Pune is at low risk zone. So this is what it is, and that's the reason why it was in news. The sixth topic today we are going to see is the Garva app. So this Garva app is basically an app developed by Ministry of Energy, and it tracks electrification of more than 6 lakh villages on our mobiles. So now you can download like a Garva 2 app, and it showcases that how quickly we are moving towards digital economy. And it's like our Prime Minister had proposed that within 1000 days he will electrify all the villages in the country. So we are moving towards that target, and that's basically being tracked, and everything can be seen on this app. And so it's developed by basically the Rural Electrification Corporation of India, and it gives a real-time data of these 6 lakh villages. And the first version just provided data about 18,452 villages which were to be electrified, but the second version gives the entire 6 lakh villages in the country's electrification data. So this app is intended not just to bring transparency to the electrification, but it is also to provide a real-time data for 12 milestone progress for electrification of these villages. Okay, so the next thing we are going to study today is the Blue Carbon Initiative. So what is this Blue Carbon Initiative? So the Blue Carbon Initiative is basically a global program working to mitigate climate change through restoration and sustainable use of coastal and marine resources. So our ecosystem is there, coastal and marine ecosystem. So Blue Carbon Initiative is basically a program, global level program, which will help to mitigate our climate change. Okay. and this initiative is coordinated by Conservation International, IUCN, then the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of the UNESCO, so IOC UNESCO. So you basically need to remember, because they might just ask one of the points, like 1 2 3 4 ऐसा होता है ना, तो उसमें ये एक पॉइंट आ सकता है. So blue carbon is a carbon stored in the coastal and marine ecosystems naturally, artificially. This initiative focuses on carbon in coastal ecosystems. तो कोस्टल इकोसिस्टम्स में क्या क्या चीज़ें आती हैं, जैसे मैंग्रोव्स आते हैं, टाइडल मार्शेस आते हैं, सी ग्रासेस आते हैं, so which are found on every continent except Antarctica. So blue carbon initiative is basically regarding this thing. Okay, so then eighth topic we are going to discuss today is the new rail line in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. तो अंडमान एंड निकोबार आइलैंड्स में आज तक रेलवे नहीं थी, और अभी मोदी जी ने प्रपोज किया है कि 240 किलोमीटर वाली ब्रॉड गेज रेलवे लाइन बनेगी, एंड इट विल कनेक्ट पोर्ट ब्लेयर विद दिगलीपुर in the Andaman and Nicobar Island. So it will be the first in the country, as I had said, and this project will connect the Union Territory's capital city in the south, that's Port Blair, with the largest town, that's Diglipur in North Andaman Island, as you are seeing in the map. Okay, and why? Because this is a very this will give us a strategic importance to our defense forces. So, and you know, Diglipur is just 300 kilometers away from the southern coast of Myanmar. So again, it can also give rise to tourism. It will become a, because Diglipur has a tourist attraction like the Ross Island and the Smith Island. So that's the reason why, you know, it's important. The ninth topic today we are going to study is pangolin. So what is this pangolin? These pangolins are basically nocturnal mammals, and often they are called as scaly anteaters, and these are covered in tough and overlapping scales. So आप अगले स्लाइड में देखेंगे कि basically these are burrowing mammals, and they eat ants and termites using an extraordinarily long tongue. तो एक long tongue होते हैं, and they eat ants and termites, and it's a mammal. Okay, and it burrows. Okay, and there are 8 different pangolins which are found across Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, and it is one of the most trafficked mammal in the world. Okay, so this is basically the pangolin. Okay, and why it is hunted for bush meat, and their scales are made up of keratin. Keratin is a protein, and which is used in traditional medicines. So that's the reason why it is being hunted. And recently UN's Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, which is CITES, it's तो उसमें अपेंडिक्स होते हैं, अपेंडिक्स 1 2 3. तो ये अपेंडिक्स 1 में इस स्पीशीज़ को डाला गया है. So it is a very much concern that it's being hunted and being trafficked, and by adding this pangolin in appendix 1, it will prohibit any cross-border movement in the animals or their body parts for commercial purposes. तो कुछ साइट्स के बारे में देख लेंगे कि साइट क्या है. इट्स अ कन्वेंशन ऑन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड इन एंडेंजर्ड स्पीशीज ऑफ वाइल्ड फॉना एंड फ्लोरा, एंड इट्स अ मल्टीलैटरल ट्रीटी, and it is basically to protect endangered plants and animals. So it's not just about animals, it's also about plants, and it is also called as the Washington Convention. So if there can be an MCQ like what is the Washington Convention, so it cites Washington Convention में से ये इंजीनियरिंग डिग्रीज से रिलेटेड भी एक Washington Convention है, but then according to the option you can tick. And the CITES is basically aiming to ensure that international trade in species of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species in the wild. Okay, and basically 35,000 species are covered under its protection, and it's a legally binding treaty, and although it does not take place of the national laws, rather it provides a framework, and the respected country or the party can adopt its own domestic legislation to implement CITES at the national level. So participation is voluntary in CITES, and countries that have agreed to these are known as parties, and then once you are agreed, then it becomes legally binding on you. So न्यूज़ में क्यों था, मतलब एट रैंडम हम लोग कुछ डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे, तो न्यूज़ में इसलिए था कि पेंगोलिन और बर्बरी मैकाउस जो है, ये मैकाउस क्या है, दिस इज द ओनली वाइल्ड प्रिमेट नॉर्थ ऑफ द सारा. प्रिमेट इज लाइक अ मंकी थिंग. So these two guys, pangolin and barbary macaws, were added in our appendix 1 protection. Today's last topic we are going to study is about carbon leakage. So what is carbon leakage? So you basically can just ask a term, and what is carbon leakage. So carbon leakage is basically, it occurs when there is an increase in carbon dioxide emissions in one country as a result of the emissions reduction by the second country with a strict climate policy. तो इसमें बेसिकली क्या हो सकता है, जैसे कि इंडिया है और यूएस है, तो यूएस में समझो जो क्लाइमेट पॉलिसी है वो एकदम स्ट्रिक्ट है. एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे, अभी ट्रम्प आया तो नहीं है वैसा, लेकिन एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे अगर स्ट्रिक्ट क्लाइमेट पॉलिसी अगर यूएस में है, तो वहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री बनाना और उसको ऑपरेट करना काफ़ी हार्मफुल है, नहीं क्या बोलते हैं, काफ़ी इट इज़ वेरी कॉस्टली. ओके, बट देन इफ इंडिया हैज़ not very strict and lenient climate policy, so these industries will shift from US to India, and they will set up their industries in India. So what happens is the emissions in India will increase because of this shift from one country to the another. The first country had a very strict climate policy, while India has second country has lenient climate policy. तो ये जब होता है यहाँ से वहाँ, and there is an increase in carbon dioxide emission due to this, then that term is called as carbon leakage. Carbon leakage may occur for a number of reasons. If the emissions policy of a country raises local cost, then another country with a more relaxed policy may have a trading advantage. So that's basically what I said. And if the demand for these goods remain the same, production may move offshore to a cheaper country with lower standards, and global emissions will not be reduced. तो कार्बन लीकेज के वजह से क्या होता है, हम लोग सिर्फ शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, लेकिन द एवरेज ग्लोबल इमिशंस नहीं कम होते. एंड इफ दिस एनवायरमेंटल पॉलिसीज इन आवर कंट्री एड प्रीमियम टू सर्टन फ्यूल्स और कमोडिटीज, देन द डिमांड में डिक्लाइन एंड देयर प्राइजेस में फॉल. ओके, and countries that do not place a premium on these items may then take up the demand and use the same supply, negating any benefit. Actually there is no consensus over the magnitude of the long term leakage effects, and however this is a problem and very important as far as climate change is concerned.